Hello, friends and music listeners. Today we are going to be talking about ABBA Gold as my first CD review of all the CDs that I bought in 2025. Yay! Sometimes you want like a full course of sound, and I feel like there's no better way than for one, an album, and for two, a CD that you can go and like pick it up and look at the cute little pamphlet and take in all of the love that went into pulling this piece of art together. I love a CD. And I knew from the moment that I started collecting CDs, there were a few artists that I needed to have, and one of those was being ABBA. So I have had my eye out for some ABBA here for a hot minute, and ABBA Gold for $2.99. Can you believe it? I mean, I kind of can because it sold so many that there's probably at least like 2, 3 copies in any CD store that you go to. Let me not be dramatic when I say most people in the world know at least two of the songs on this album. ABBA is so important to pop music. They are like the pop group. I also believe that my personal experience and how I connect with this music is important context for any of my opinion going into anything I say. I think you'll understand a lot more if you understand where I'm coming from and some of my human experiences with ABBA being the soundtrack, and specifically a lot of the music that is on this album here. My history with ABBA, it digs so deep. I have been listening to ABBA. I think I first started listening to ABBA I was probably like 13 or 14. I have nothing but fond feelings that come from, hearing the first note of any ABBA song. It's like instantly I'm brought back to like some of the most beautiful and deeply present moments of my life. And oftentimes they were spent with like my girlfriends who I love so deeply. So ABBA, hell yeah, love ABBA. I don't know if this is like a common canon event for all young women or almost every young woman that I have ever met and connected with. I have had some of my most free and empowering moments as a young woman while I was listening to ABBA in some way, or was like sparked by ABBA playing in the vicinity, right? It feels like everyone kind of has their Mamma Mia, their dancing queen moment. It's so important. I remember in high school, my best friends Maggie and Lizzie, we would sing ABBA together all the time. I think they definitely were some of the first people to cement ABBA into me. We would listen to ABBA, we would sing ABBA together. Their family had one of those SUVs with like the TVs and the DVD player, and I think there was always like 2 loose CDs in that vehicle. One always being Mamma Mia, and we always picked Mamma Mia, right? And we would sing for hours, like put that movie on replay. We were having the craziest sing-alongs in their convertible when we would drive around in the summer. Barely had our license, right? And we're like screaming to lay all your love on me. And oh my God. One of my most distinct memories is being 17 and listening to Dancing Queen with my friends, and we would swim at my friend's house, like in their pool, and have the Bluetooth speaker with ABBA blasting, and we'd be putting on like theatrical performances of like Lay All Your Love on Me and Mamma Mia, and having like the best time ever. Thank you, ABBA. Like literally the soundtrack to some of the most fun moments of my life. I remember my friend Lizzie was trying out for something like musical theater at our school, and the song that she had picked to perform was Thank You for the Music. And I remember going to their house after school, and you could hear her in her bedroom practicing, and her soul is so intertwined with ABBA for me. I remember her being so young and timid and so talented and singing the fuck out of Thank You for the Music. It's like nothing but good memories. Oh my God. Another one of my beautiful best friends, Barbara, I have so many distinct memories to the soundtrack of ABBA with her as well. I remember being 19 and we went to Europe together. We were so young, oh my God, and it was my first time leaving the country. And we got to London, and one of the first things that we did was we bought tickets to like a pub crawl, and we're like, let's go have like the craziest night ever. And we did. And you know, we were meeting new people from around the world for the first time, and we were young and we were free and having like a blast. And if you haven't been on a pub crawl, you know, you get your ticket and you meet up with other people normally traveling, like young people, and you go pub to pub, and some local guy will lead you there, and he'll carry like a Bluetooth speaker and keep the vibes going, right? I remember there was one pub crawl. We were so drunk and in the streets of London, and we made friends with like this group of older women, and we were going from one pub to the next, and Dancing Queen was playing, and we were singing and we were dancing, and everyone around us, even people that like weren't on the pub crawl, were like getting in on it. Oh my god, it is like one of the best experiences of my life was being able to connect with people that maybe didn't even speak like the same language, and they happened to be there on that trip at the same time. And ABBA, we were free, and we were yelling and we were dancing, and I was expressing myself for like the first time with my friend so freely. It's like, oh my god, every song, it's so beautiful. It's in my brain forever. And then a few years later, Barbara and I also made a point to go to like the ABBA hologram concert in London. They've got like a permanent residency thing going there. And I remember I was a little skeptical because, for one, the tickets were kind of expensive. I want to say like $60 or $70. And I was like, okay, they're holograms, and also they're there every night. I feel like $70 is kind of expensive for what it is, but whatever. I'll go because I love ABBA, and oh my god, that was like one of the best experiences of my life. And I remember it was like it was kind of far from where we were staying. Like, it was a trek to get to this ABBA hologram concert, and we get there, and everyone is dressed in like 70s glam ABBA, and it was so fun already. I was like, oh my god, people love ABBA even more than I do, obviously. So we got dance floor tickets. So we're boots on the ground, and there's no phones allowed, and we get like a drink or two before the performance starts, and everyone is so excited. They're so present, and the venue was like pretty small, intimate, but very, very cool. It was an incredibly immersive experience. And then they get up there, these hologram avatars, right? And I am captivated. I'm drunk and I'm having a great time and singing so loudly. And there was also some really interesting like animated little films going on, to the point that like I looked them up after the concert, and they were kind of hard to find because they're exclusive to this concert, but I thought the artists were really cool. It brought like a whole new compelling experience to the music. And by the end, we had made friends with like some of the women around us, and there was like conga lines, and it was awesome. Like, I would go see those holograms again, honestly. So ABBA, for me, I think it paints every beautiful moment of my life, like with my girlfriends out being myself, especially some of the more formative first moments where I got to experience this. ABBA proved to me that music was the ultimate form of expressing yourself and being free and being alive and dancing and being a woman and all of these other things. I love ABBA. There's a reason they are so popular. They are nothing but good vibes. Great vibes. So I do want to talk a little bit about who I am at the time of this CD review. ABBA has a way of always coming back into my life when I need it the most, when things are kind of chaotic. But you know, there's always something good to come of like the hard parts of life, and I think ABBA portrays this in their melodies so well. I'll talk about this a little bit more, but some of these songs are low-key kind of depressing, but the melody makes you wonder how they can sing so beautifully about really hard feelings. This track list is phenomenal in the way that it covers quite a span of feelings, and they aren't like corny pop teen, even though I do love corny pop and teen types of music. It's very, universally relatable types of feelings. So right now I'm kind of in the mode of my life where I am going through a lot of chaos. What has kind of come to the forefront of my focus is music very deeply, and I finally have the time and mental capacity to love music a lot deeper. I think you can develop your taste in music as deeply, if not even more deeply, by listening to one album many times versus a lot of different music only a few times. Deep listening is a form of love, and I started trying to listen to my CDs a lot more deeply and really articulate and analyze the details that make me feel so deeply connected and in love with the music that I'm listening to. So, I've got ABBA Gold here. How this beautiful CD ended up in my home this year when I turned 27 on my birthday. One of my goals, I made a birthday bucket list. I wanted to buy some new CDs. I remember, I had the day off. I woke up early. I got like a coffee and went to Fat Cat Records in Seattle. One of my favorite record stores, one of my favorite places to buy CDs. Pick this up for $2.99. I started collecting CDs probably only like 8 months ago, right? And from the moment I started collecting CDs, I knew I needed some ABBA, and I have had my eyes out for some ABBA since then. On my birthday, this album appeared in my hands, and it's got so many songs that I already deeply love. I was familiar and loved nearly every song that can be found on ABBA Gold. It was the perfect album. I think in the past I haven't really had the space to deep dive into the music that has kind of become part of my tapestry as an artist, like what influences my sound. I haven't been able to understand the setting, the mind, the heart that went into creating a piece of art like this. Now that I have the time, because I am unemployed and have left corporate America, I now am dedicating a lot of time to understanding music more, specifically the music in my CDs. So, ABBA Gold. Let me walk you through what I have learned through my deep dive. I've been listening to this album as many times as possible through as many different activities as possible for the past few days and taken some notes. I've looked up some performances. I learned more. I started reading one of those 33 and 1/3 books on this album specifically. It was kind of funny that I had this CD and I knew I had this CD, and then I saw some of those books, and I bought 2 of those books. If you aren't familiar, they kind of give the history of specific albums in music history, and I was like, this is a great opportunity to learn more about the music I'm listening to in a book format. I love reading books. They're pretty small. I picked it up. I've already learned a lot. I think it'll continue to influence my viewpoints. I'm about halfway through. I was going to wait and read the whole thing before doing this review, but I have too many thoughts already. I have too many thoughts. So ABBA Gold was released in 1992, and it has 19 tracks. It runs about an hour and 16 minutes. It is awesome. It is like the perfect full course meal of pop music. For me, I feel like ABBA is one of those artists that you think of them and you think of their singles. You don't really relate any specific album to ABBA. That's how it was for me. I didn't even really understand the breadth of their worldwide takeover because, one, I wasn't alive during that time, and 2, I don't know, like ABBA here in America was kind of more of an entity that you're familiar with, but I know in other countries they were like personas. They were very well known. Every member, it was more of a household kind of phenomenon. But yeah, here in America there's some specific ways that people find out that aren't as all-encompassing. Before I even fully understood how worldwide ABBA truly is, I think I still had an idea that they were so deeply impactful. And even being able to like feel that vibe through their music and experiencing it firsthand without knowing all of the nitty-gritty details of how big they were. Like this album was number 1 in 15 different countries. Number 1 in 15 different countries. I think that is bonkers. That is so crazy. ABBA was like wildly successful at making hits, pop hits. That was their bread and butter. I think what's really interesting about the aesthetic of this CD specifically is, it's very not ABBA. When you think of ABBA and you're familiar with ABBA, you think of like 70s glam rock pop, feathers, blue, crazy makeup, feathered hair. It's like camp and gay, and this gives timeless. And like their music, it transcends what the time period aesthetic was for the band. This is, yeah, timeless. It's regal. It's black and gold. It's beautiful. It's giving hits. Here on the back, we have a track list and also ABBA standing in front of a helicopter. I believe that is from a different album. They look awesome. There's like a sunset. They're in all white. Like, all right, relax. The inside, what do we got going on? We've got, the music on this album spans across 7 years. Sorry, I'm putting the pamphlet back in its little case here. It spans 7 years, I think 1976 through 81 or 82. Even though this isn't like a true album, it's a beautifully, incredibly decadent, curated list of their most definitive singles. It still feels so cohesive, and it still tells a bit of a story, even if that story happens to be ABBA, their career. It feels like one, and the listening experience carries throughout, in my humble opinion, very seamlessly. When I describe ABBA Gold, it's truly one of the most brilliant pop albums of all time. It's a Euro pop synthy experience that you can rock out to, you can cry and sob to, you can clean your house to, you can dance to, you can heal to, you can fall in love to, you can restart your life kind of album. It is full of incredibly relatable and universal human experiences. They are very adult in the way that they describe going through love and communicating and breakups. And yeah, even though some of the feelings are so heavy, it is so uplifting. It's gets you moving. It gets you grooving. Almost the entire album was produced by Benny and Bjorn. They're the goats. Love what they did here. The music is awesome. That also reflects in the way that everything feels very cohesive. They were still, doing the producing. I love to look back on the aesthetics that the band had at the time of the music that is in this album. It was so fun. Oh my god, they were so interesting to look at, and the music videos are awesome. I love ABBA during that period. They were glamorous, they had a look and feel to them that all the cover bands knew how to replicate, and people would see them be like, wow, they are singing ABBA, aren't they? The makeup was fire. The blue eyeshadow went crazy. The music videos were so simple, but also so interesting. They loved the zoom. They loved, the fade-ins, fade-outs. Yeah, they looked like kind people, real smiles. Very 70s, very 80s. I love the aesthetic from that time. So this album starts with Dancing Queen because what other song even comes close to being as iconic? It's a bit of a predictable move, I will say, to put Dancing Queen as number one, but it makes sense. Like, why not hit the ground running? I think that is their song. Let's put it first. I love this song for how deeply it connects all sorts of young people. It's one of those songs that is so empowering. I love how it's sang from like the perspective of someone seeing and admiring a young girl that is being so free and using their youth to dance and express that freedom and be so, they are the dancing queen. Women need to dance. I firmly believe we would feel better as a society through everything we're going through if we made more time and space to dance incredibly freely. So yes, you are the dancing queen. do it, girl, dance, queen, literally. Bars. I don't know what else to say. This is a timeless, eternal, heartwarming song. You hear it at weddings, you hear it at clubs. This is one of those songs best enjoyed dancing. It's one of those songs I never really like to play, without it kind of being dealt to me by the universe in a well curated moment. I don't really play it at home alone, but randomly I'll be out and I'll hear Dancing Queen and I'll like wake the fuck up and be like, oh my god, it's time to dance. I deeply, deeply, deeply respect music that can instantly get a wide sample size of people in a room instantly moving and grooving, and Dancing Queen is one of those songs for that. It's boundary defying. I love it. Yeah, strong start. Before I go further, I do also want to point out a really interesting detail of this album, and that's the bass lines. I don't know if that's like that insignificant of a detail, but it is one of the driving forces behind why this album, them as a group are so widely respected, is they've got some bass lines that are truly ahead of their time. And I was on the, I think it was like the bass subreddit earlier today, and someone had asked, what is an album that you think would be good to learn front to back? And funny enough, I'm in my little ABBA Gold reviewing phase, and someone commented ABBA Gold, and a lot of people agreed. Like, this is one of those slept on albums with some crazy groove and timing that's a little tricky to get down, and very interesting things are going on. When I saw that Reddit thread, I had a moment where something clicked. If I'm going to do a review on an album, I think a good way to deeply listen and understand the music from a lens I hadn't really explored is to learn how to play at least a few of the songs and understand rhythmically what's going on, either on bass or guitar, and give that as an opportunity to think about the music and the layers and why things are working a little more deeply. So the past 2 days, I have poured probably a solid 4+ hours practicing some songs off of ABBA Gold, and yeah, they are as fun and funky to play as anyone could have guessed. My favorite so far is Lay All Your Love on Me. Oh my god, that one is so fun to play. Voulez-vous, Mamma Mia, Dancing Queen, all of them they're so fun. They're so fun to rock out to on a bass guitar. Hell yeah. I also thought this was funny because when I looked up a bass cover on YouTube to play along to, there was this one guy, I think it's like Sonic Blue Bass. I'll link his videos that I have been loving. I loved his cover of Lay All Your Love on Me, and I went to look at his other videos, and all he has is ABBA, and I thought that was really funny. But he's a great player, and I'm learning a lot from him specifically, and also about the music through his covers. So super cool. Love that I feel connected in that way as well. The second song on this track list is Knowing Me, Knowing You. This is a heartbreaking song. It is powerful, and lyrically it's kind of relevant, knowing someone so deeply and feeling like the best thing to do is separate, and it feels like a song that transcends, again, time and space, and could be about a divorce or a first love equally. It's great. The next song I want to talk about is Mamma Mia. This is the fourth on the track list. Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. This song transcends words for me in so many ways. I have so many feelings that, words can't even begin to describe when it comes to Mamma Mia. I love a lyrically depressing song, and Mamma Mia is one of those songs, but sonically, it goes crazy. The marimba. It is so iconic, the little ticky-tacky noise. It is so iconic that it blew my mind to find out that this was a detail that was added kind of near the end of producing this song. And I really cannot fathom Mamma Mia without the marimba in it. It is so clearly meant to be there. But yeah, song is so full of despair and breaking, and yet the melody is so powerful, and Mamma Mia. And like I talked about earlier, Mamma Mia, the movie, it was kind of my intro to ABBA more or less, and a lot of the songs on ABBA Gold come from or are in that movie. So there's a lot of times I'm listening to a song and I'm thinking Mamma Mia. This melody makes me want to literally levitate the moment I hear it start. Like the do 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 do, like oh my god, Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. I also do want to take another moment to talk about Mamma Mia because oh my god, I love that movie. Meryl Streep. When I first started listening to ABBA a little more heavily, probably like 5 years ago, or starting to listen to the songs that weren't by the cast of the movie, I found myself still really being pulled to like the Meryl Streep cover. Like, I don't know, like my body craves hearing Meryl Streep's beautiful voice covering ABBA. I have like a visceral like feeling when it comes on that's related to, so many loved ones, and I don't know. The body keeps score, and the score is sang by Meryl Streep. I don't know. It's awesome. I love that movie so dearly. The next song, Super Trooper. This music video is also so freaking awesome. I loved the costumes there. Lyrically, a really fun song. It's about putting on your best performance when someone that you love is out there in the crowd supporting you. You become a little bit of a super trooper, and I love that. It's a really fun song. I thought it was funny. I had the music video up, and in the comments someone said like this is the type of music men listen to when their homies aren't around. There's also a few songs on here that are a little bit more theatrical in the way that they are composed. I'm thinking about Thank You for the Music. Talked about this a little bit. It starts off really slow, and unironically this song made me love music more. But the way that, the power, the what is it, the pompous, it starts to hit like crazy as we move towards the chorus there. It's a very, very big song. I really love that one. When they said, "What would life be without a song or a dance?" That's literally so real. What would life be? I love that song. It goes absolutely stupid. This is one of those songs that made me think about music differently. Like, everyone who has ever taken the time to create music that I have loved, taken the time to listen so deeply to themselves and bring their music to life for others, I applaud you. I love you. Thank you. I deeply care about you. Thank you for decorating the time and space and sound waves in my life. It means a lot. And I think about that when I listen to Thank You for the Music. Gimme, gimme, gimme a man after midnight. When this song comes on in the club, like, you already know what the fuck is going on. That song is so fire. I don't even have more to say. Like, listen to that song around midnight at a club, drunk with your girls. Report back to me how you feel. That's all I gotta say. Does Your Mother Know? This song is so fun. It is a song you cannot help but get up and want to dance a little bit. The guitar riffs, they make you want to rock. The bass walk-ups go hard. I love their songs that have like a little call and response between like the male and female vocals there. This song really has it all. Also, in the Mamma Mia movie, it is one of the most iconic scenes ever, the little like dance moment. I love that in the movie, it's kind of in the perspective of talking to like a young guy hitting on an older woman, like a little promiscuous little troublemaker, and versus in the song, it's kind of like a guy talking to like a younger woman. But in the movie, it's so funny. It's got to be my favorite scene in that movie. Mamma Mia. goes crazy. It's like I listen to this song and I can see it play by play, frame by frame. Love. Like I said, I have so many thoughts about every specific song here on ABBA Gold. Here, let me put this back up on the wall. Okay. The last song on ABBA Gold is Waterloo. This song, it puts a little pep in your step. I love this song. It's awesome. I love a saxophone. I love a brass moment. It's awesome. It's the perfect concluding song. You know, we started off with Dancing Queen. Awesome. Yeah, duh. And then we conclude with Waterloo. It might not be one of their like top songs that you relate to ABBA, but in the 1974 Eurovision, that was their first performance of Waterloo, and they brought home the gold. I don't know if there's gold for that contest, but they brought home the gold. Aha. And won for Sweden for the first time ever with that song, their first live performance of that song. That is so iconic, and the performance is so good. The costumes, the guitar, the way that they look, they're, oh my god, the way they perform, they look so happy when they're performing. Like, I would have voted them to win as well. They're so awesome. I also don't know if it's tasteless of me to say I love when a song kind of references like a historical conflict or event. Kind of helps me know what they're talking about a little bit more in the conflict when they explain it to me through music. But yeah, this song Waterloo, a woman surrendering herself for their lover, a tale as old as time. That song put ABBA on the map, and I cannot fathom a world without ABBA. And you can't write the story of ABBA without the Waterloo moment. Beautiful. Mwah. No notes. So I'll stop there. Those are my thoughts on ABBA Gold, the album. One of, like I said, the most impactful pop albums to ever exist, ever. And I believe everyone needs to listen and be familiar a little bit deeper than Mamma Mia and Dancing Queen with ABBA, but I still think it's awesome that no matter who you are, you probably know those songs. For me personally, ABBA makes me so happy, and it doesn't matter what I'm going through, I can listen to some ABBA and remember everything's gonna be okay. You know, they have a way of making these heavy human experiences sound so fun and so exciting and like you want to dance. I think if everyone danced a little bit more, we would be a little happier as a collective. So put on some ABBA, clean your house, dance a little bit. It's an incredibly easy set of music to do so. No one really did it like them, and no one will probably ever do it like them again. They were locked into making pop music at the time, and you don't have to be a connoisseur of pop music to be able to realize how important they are. So for me, ABBA Gold is a 10 out of 10, and I would listen to it for the rest of my life. And I probably will. I probably will listen to ABBA Gold forever. I think it's like the perfect dose of ABBA. It's like an apple a day, an ABBA a day keeps the doctor away. I learned a lot about myself also by listening to ABBA Gold a little more mindfully. I listened to ABBA Gold on a run, a walk, doing some yoga, cleaning my house, dancing a little bit, singing it in the car, through live performances I hadn't really seen before. I feel like music is so important to me after listening to this, like not to be corny or dramatic in any way, but ABBA has a way of realizing how universally connecting music can be. And we're all kind of going through something, and they have a way of making it feel like, you know, you are doing the best you can despite the circumstances, and we're going to dance through the hard times anyway. Hard times require furious dancing. I also want to say I'm not really in the business of critiquing albums. I really love loving albums, and I love noticing all the reasons why I love the music that I do. And I think this is a great exercise in understanding how music works together to invoke a feeling, the details within it, why it's important to me. And I think music is one of those things that you can go as deep or as shallow as you want to, and you'll still be able to feel something. And the deeper you go, you probably will feel a little more connected. And one thing I'm kind of worried about is after I do all these CD reviews, because I'm reviewing these CDs with the intent that I'm going to have to sell a lot of them before I move, I fear I might become emotionally invested in this little piece of what I own to the point that I won't want to get rid of it. Like, I'm kind of thinking now, like, I don't want to get rid of ABBA Gold. That is my ABBA Gold. After listening and listening and listening to ABBA Gold, I think my concluding feelings and thoughts are that ABBA Gold is like the B-roll soundtrack, or like soundtrack to a B-roll of a life well lived, a life beautifully lived. It says a lot for me that when I think of the songs or I listen to ABBA Gold and some of the songs come on, I'm immediately transported back to the happiest moments of my life. Like, yeah, this is the soundtrack. I think everyone needs to listen to ABBA. And that's all I've got. That's all I've got to say. I think I've repeated the same points a few times, and I feel lucky to have dedicated some time to understanding ABBA a little bit more historically, the time frame that these sounds were created, their impact, who produced, some of the different layers of the sound, sonically what is happening, lyrically what is also unfolding. I'm so happy. I feel so full of ABBA. I feel full of happiness from dedicating some love to an album and songs that have marked my life so deeply. And I'm really looking forward to the next few CDs that I sit down and gather my thoughts about and gather my feelings and see how they hold up, with a little bit more of my scrutiny and a little bit more of me really being present in the sound waves. I'm very excited. Incredibly accessible album. I love. Thank you for listening to my thoughts on ABBA Gold. I think I know what CD I'm going to be listening to next, and it's also going to be another timeless classic that I am pretty intimately familiar with. So look forward to that, because I know I will. I was going to spend a week listening to one album and really solidify my thoughts, but I don't think time frames are going to work for me, because it's only been 2 days of listening to this album and playing it on some bass and some guitar, and I know how I feel. I know how I feel about ABBA Gold, and I'm really excited to kind of move on to my next little deep dive here and learn more about the music that I have sitting in my home, that I've collected, that I have purposefully brought into my environment. I think this is the type of honor I want to treat all the music that I listen to, and going a little more analog in the way that I consume music too has been really important for that. Once you own something, you now have to take care of it physically. And I think that kind of rewires the way that you consume music versus like a streaming platform where the resources are very distant. You aren't getting like a physical feel for how you're connecting. And then you take out a CD and it's got like the art, and someone designed that, and someone in some factory probably put together this CD case and the CD itself and the design that's on that, and you have to take it out and hold it, put it in your CD player, press play, turn up the volume, and sit there with the music. And I prefer that these days over having to pull out my phone and interact with my phone. Anyway, thank you for listening. Keep your ears and your eyes and your heart open, and take care. Bye-bye.